Hello, everybody, and welcome to Woopercast. This is episode 30. I think it's episode 30 for... What is it? It's January. January the 19th, 2017. Almost got the date completely wrong. As always, I am your host, Joe Yates. And joining me today is a very special guest. We're being joined by Alan O'Gorman from over at Poke Playtime and also another fellow Irish player. Do you want to introduce yourself there, Alan?
Howdy. I'll just keep it simple. My name's Al. I play Pokemon.
Those are two true facts. Yes, they are. So Alan's
Would you
going
like one false one?
No, you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to give us three facts and then say one of them was false and then go from there. Like,
I'm only good at games like Pokemon.
that's also a true fact. But anyway, we've got us on here in the show today because I'm going to be going through every single GX card that has been revealed so far, and we're going to dissect them all and tell you why they're probably terrible or probably brilliant, one or the other. Yeah, I decided just to go through every single one of these instead of doing like a sit down and do a full set review because I already discussed the majority of the set in a previous episode of Woopercast, so I figured, you know what, this might be a bit more fun. It's just to break it down GX by GX, since this is a new mechanic after all, and I think it's definitely important to discuss. So, we'll be getting into this, we'll be doing it by type. First of all, we'll be going through all the ones that were released in Collection Sun and Moon. And then after that, I'll be doing all the promos and the ones that are going to be in the next set after that, and all the extra things that have been revealed in Japan so far. So first up is going to be Lapras GX, and we've all heard of this one. We're getting started with probably the best one on the list, right?
Agreed. Completely. Just Forest of Giant Plants makes this card so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if it didn't have Forest, like even thinking post rotation, like way in the future, like
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm looking at this set and thinking as if like when Megas were first introduced, and and kind of comparing it to 2010, the play style. Like we've kind of played around with it a little bit at League and stuff, and it just kind of feels like it's going back that way, which is a really fun,
yeah.
a fun way to play.
It's worth
It's not
noting.
just big basics.
It is. It's definitely worth noting that, like, on that note, that we have not seen a supporter yet released that says discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So,
Yet.
and I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have revealed it by now, surely, right? It would have been in the base set.
Oh, that's where it just pops out of,
Yeah.
No, I'd say like I can't see it coming in like a second or third set, but we could be completely wrong.
Yeah. Well, we can withhold judgment for that for now. I mean, that's still stuff we can't make calls on right now. We don't have enough information for that. But anyway, back to the Rantas. So one of the striking things about this thing is just how every single aspect of it is good. We've got the first attack is 40 damage. Attach 2 basic energies from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. It's basically very similar to Carving Break's attack. You can even attach them to the Lurantis that you're attacking with. Solar Blade's not super fantastic or anything, but it's got healing coupled with an affordable attack cost, coupled with a relatively decent amount of damage. Chlorosize GX can blow up pretty much anything that's in the active spot. This card just feels like it's not missing anything. 210 HP as well. I can't find any fault in it, quite frankly.
Yeah, the retreat cost is pretty okay on it too. Like 2 isn't like the be all and end all, considering you could retreat and realistically power it up with another one.
Yeah, it's an affordable
on-
retreat cost based on the attack that you have, like, because you can just recycle those energy anyway.
Yeah, like you could easily be cycling in and out of them, and yeah, fair enough. Volcanian's a problem at the moment, but long term, like turn 1 you're hitting for 40, then turn 2 you're hitting for 120 and attaching to your bench. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, like, most people right now are pairing this with Vileplume, and kind of, like, maybe a bit wishful thinking, but is that even enough just to beat Volcanion if you just go first and get a Vileplume up and the Volcanion player doesn't have a perfect hand? You can still potentially just win right there.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're hitting 140. You got it. Yeah, no, I mean, like, we don't need to discuss this one too much, do we? It's perfect, almost.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
It's cool to finally get a really good grass attacker. Like we haven't had that since Genesect EX back in.
Hey, Trevenant DX was great, okay?
You just swiftly move on right there. Okay.
Okay, but that was good. I almost played that at Nats with Seismitoad. I'm really glad I didn't. but I almost.
I was just about to say, what's the next statement that's going to come out of your mouth? I'm really glad I didn't.
Yeah, that would have been a terrible idea in hindsight, but
Yeah, but look, hey, you got good.
exactly. All right, so the next one's going to be the Decidueye GX. This is one I skipped over in my initial preview of the set. I regret that because it's a pretty good card. So, big cool thing about this thing is it has this ability that says once during your turn, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Simple as that. So it works a bit like Crobat did back in the day.
It's way Crobat.
It's arguably better than Crobat, yeah. And Crobat's already proven itself to be good, so I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be as well, right?
Yeah, like it's one of those things that like it could be really annoying. Um, I suppose it's just, is it worth the space
Yeah.
to do it? You know, like if you're gonna have that many bulky Pokemon on the bench or in the game, if you're gonna have multiple Pokemon that have 200 odd hit points, if GX has become a serious thing, 20 probably doesn't seem like that big a deal right now. But yeah,
I think the big thing we need to remember, though, with GX is having high HP is that a lot of them evolve from Pokemon with smaller amounts of HP. So things like,
it's true.
let's have a look at, like, I don't know, Incineroar GX evolves from a 60 HP Litten, just for example. So three abilities, that kills a Litten. Even, like, 3 abilities on an Incineroar GX, and then you attack with Espeon EX to devolve the Incineroar, that kills the Litten. So you've got ways around that, I think. I don't think that's a huge issue for it, personally. It does also have this Hollow Hunt GX attack, which lets you put 3 cards from your discard pile in your hand. Can we just agree that that's objectively good?
It's okay.
Yeah. All right.
It like for your one GX attack, there are better GX attacks, but to be able to take 3 cards is pretty cool.
I think, yeah, maybe there are better GX attacks, but Christ, that's still so good. Like 3 cards from your discard pile back for a single basic energy. I mean, arguably, like, okay, Bundlebee gets 2 and it's not your GX attack, but they're not in your hand. But
Yeah, but like they're coming back.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that's a great asset to have, especially in a deck that's probably going to be really resource intensive. Like if one of them gets knocked out, you can Hollow Hunt GX for a 1/1/1 line of the same one again just to get it back.
True.
I think the weirdest thing to me is that most people seem to be using this as the main attacker index with, like, they've been playing grass and double colorless energies and just attacking with the Decidueye. In Japan,
No,
I know Decidueye Seismitoad's been seeing a lot of play, and that's been considered quite a good deck. But do you think Decidueye is, like, should be the main attacker of the deck, or is there anything better that you think could maybe take its place?
No, I think it's a support. It's your it's one of those things. It's like your like what Garbodor is to Yveltal at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just something fun that you have in there that's annoying for your opponent.
I think we just got to find out what the right partner is for it. I really don't think it's efficient to be attacking with this thing. I mean, 90 damage is fine, but
And hammers are still a thing, so like
yeah, true. And a grass double colorless isn't fantastic. Although I think the big asset it has is like 240 HP. It's gonna tank a few hits for sure.
oh, 100%.
But I don't know. It's cards like these make me miss Miltank, really.
No one misses me.
Everyone misses Miltank. Miltank was great.
Yeah, when you're not playing against it.
Yeah. I swear, Miltank Ampharos would have been a great deck if Miltank was still around and I could play that Ampharos that puts 3 damage counters on EXs. I would have played the hell out of that.
I love that card.
Yeah,
Anyway, we should probably get back to GXs.
we should, because Ampharos is not one. But in Incineroar is one. I want to clarify as well that example I was given. Litten has 70 HP, but imagine it had 60. All right, there you go.
I'm already picturing it.
Exactly. So Incineroar has 250 HP. Okay, that's just insane. It has the attack Hustle Blow for 1 fire energy, 10 damage plus 20 more for each fire Pokemon on your bench. Tiger Swing is fire colorless for 80 damage plus 50 more on 2 coin flips. That's just really underwhelming. Let's not talk. You're never going to be using that one. Burn Slam GX, though, is fire colorless for 200 damage, and your opponent's active is now burnt. It's effectively 220, so probably just clear whatever's in front of you.
And realistically dead.
And realistically, unless you're in the mirror match or something like that, it's got to be dead by now.
Oh yeah. Like, because you've literally killed it with fire.
Exactly. Yeah. Hustle Blow, I think, is a really cool attack, though. I quite like this. I like the idea of just using one single energy attachment and then using max potions to heal it because it's got so much HP, and then just keep on like two-shotting things with Hustle Blow. Um, do you think it's good enough to work around a whole rare candy kind of engine, though?
No. Um, it's kind of got one of those starter issues where it's a cool starter Pokemon. Um, there's always one that's inherently good, like the Blastoise with Deluge. Um, I like the attack. I like the concept. I I'll probably be proven wrong, but I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think there's better GX attacks all around.
The GX attack isn't that good. It has to be
It's
said.
it's a lot of damage, but it's a lot of work. There's no real fire acceleration at the moment. Well, I suppose at the moment you say Volcanion.
Yeah, I'd be
Baby.
playing baby Volcanions with this for sure. Probably
Yeah,
just because I could, but because I can't think of a lot of other good fire types to have on the bench for it. Maybe like Ninetales.
yeah, but it's just one of those. I, I I want to like it, but I can't.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna give it a go. I'm personally gonna try this one out because I really like the idea. I mean, I played a lot of Circle Circuit Raichu, so I feel like I should give this thing a go.
Yeah.
Um, but I just
If anyone can make it work, I believe it's you.
thank you. I appreciate that. But first of all, 3 retreat cost is horrible. Raichu is free. Um, and it's competing with
And,
Raichu. You gotta wonder why are you playing this over Raichu? But
yeah, question life decisions after you play it. Okay.
exactly. My biggest thing that's put me off it is the rare candies. I just don't. I'm not gonna enjoy that. I know I'm not.
Well, you play a 3-0 tree line, 7 rare candies, and 11 Wailords. Done.
The 11 Wailords is really what swings all of the matchups, isn't it?
It's just like max potion, Wailord.
At that
You
point,
know?
you may as well just cut the Incineroars. I feel.
I don't know about that, but like we'll play test it. We'll see how it goes, and we'll leave it up.
Speaking of playtesting, the next GX is something I have been playtesting a decent amount recently. It's going to be Lapras GX. There should be a video going up on this on Wednesday night, so the day before this podcast goes up. But Lapras is a card that I really, really like. I know, Alan, you have definitely a very different view on it than I do.
Look,
I think it's
it's
quite good.
Lapras. I love Lapras, but yeah, um,
You just don't think it's strong enough to hold its own, or?
it's like you have to get a really good cycle going with it. You have to have 2 set, and you're rolling in and out of them to like consistently hit big. Or have a secondary attacker. I'm sure, like obviously, you could Ranger to hit with Blizzard Burn again.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like,
I want to like it because it is Lapras, and Lapras is cool. But yeah, I feel like it's outclassed by other GXs.
I kind of thought that when I was first looking at it. After playing it, though, I do like it a lot. I do think it's got some good matchups. The biggest, like, the drawback it is for me is the grass weakness. I think
I was
that's...
going to say that, but I'm sure you've discovered that from your playtesting.
Oh, yeah. It's the biggest drawback by far. It's the fact that Lurantis, Decidueye, and Vespiquen are, well, the first two are being hyped up, but the latter, Vespiquen, is already a top tier deck, and people are playing it tournaments. It is making top 32 finishes, and you will have to expect to play against one if you face it.
And Vespiquen gets stronger with all these like stage 1, stage 2 decks as well, because there's more stuff to put in the bin.
Yeah, I guess I get what you mean by that. It also
Like
means that
it may not be like completely based around it, but like, man, people could throw in a 1/1 into Lurantis, just to be sneaky.
yeah, I mean, I suppose you could. I think if I was teching anything into Lurantis, though, it would be Trevenant DX, because I feel like that would be a good Glaceon counter.
Oh yeah, just Trevenant, huh?
Yeah, back to Trevenant DX, which, again, don't sleep on the tree. But no, I personally do like Lapras. If you want to hear me talking about more in depth, there is a video on the channel from yesterday, again, from Wednesday night.
And I will be posting my analysis of Joe's analysis soon afterwards, where I just rip on Joe for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's him criticizing my criticisms. It's going to be great. But no, Blizzard Burn 160 is a little bit of a, if it was 180, I think everyone would be turning their head at this card. Everyone would be like, hold on, this is great. But
Hold.
160 is a bit short of that. I still think
Yeah,
it's solid. The GX
it's
attack, don't underrate it either. Instant paralysis can win you games. It can set up things for Articuno to come in and finish off. It means you can Lizond up like a giant evil tall, paralyze it to lock it there, and then next turn kill it. So it does have its uses.
yeah, that is super cool.
Yeah.
100%. It's just, I sup-
It's nothing new, I guess. There's nothing about it that you're like, oh, that's special. That makes it different.
and I suppose that the other thing with it is like compared to, I know it's a basic, so 190 HP is really cool, but when you look at a couple of the other GXs, I know you have to get them set, but
Yeah, you're right. 250 is a bigger number than 190. With a Fury
well,
belt, you go to
you
230. So there's that.
true. This is true. Yeah, I suppose Fury Belt. Then you're hitting 170.
I feel like
Yeah.
EXP share is probably also a decent tool you can use with it, just because
I would go with EXP share 100% more than Fury Belt, but yeah.
I'm trying to split right now personally, but having 230 HP is nice. Plus healing options with rough seas and stuff. I think
Yeah.
it's solid. Next up,
I'll agree to disagree.
that's fair enough. I knew you weren't gonna be super into it anyway.
Hey, look, you gotta try it.
Next up is something I don't think either of us are going to be super into, and that's Pre-Marina EX, or GX. So I'm just going to read this out, because I'm sure a lot of people have just forgotten what it does. Bubble...
I'm just gonna throw something out here, and let's forget about the attacks and appreciate the artwork.
Okay, you're right. You're right. That's beautiful. That's a very nice card. Actually, that goes for a lot of these GX cards, and I can't wait to see some of them in person at the pre-release this weekend, because some of them are going to look great. I'm sure of that. But I'll read out the card. So Bubble Beat does 10 damage plus 20 more for each water energy attached to your Pokemon. All of your Pokemon. So it's Darkrai EX, but for water energy. But it does 10 less damage, and it's a stage 2. So, okay, moving on. Sea Sound is like 3 water and a colorless. Who came up with that? 120, discard an energy on your opponent's active Pokemon. Like, that's good, but it's not 4 energy good, right?
It's the person who made the card just didn't want to make it OP.
Like, really
They're
didn't
like,
want to make it OP.
we don't want to break the game. Didn't want to make other cards jealous. Water's already getting Lapras. Let's not hype up water too much.
Yeah, all right.
And then,
And from that perspective, that's fine. It's good that the one archetype hasn't gotten too many things to play with.
yeah, but then what happened was they realized they'd made a terrible mistake when they saw the design for Lapras 2.
Ah.
And there was no going back because this was already printed. So, and then they were like, look, there's this guy in Ireland called Joe. He likes these kind of things. Go figure it out.
Yeah, they trust me. They know what I'm doing.
They think so anyway.
I do want to point out the only reason I could see anyone using this is Grand Echo GX, which heals.
Which I think, that is the saving grace on this card.
Yeah. Like,
that could be, the fact it's a DCE.
Exactly, yeah.
Could you see that with Maxi?
Well,
or Archie?
Archie, yeah. It's a
Archie.
weird Archie target for sure, because normally Archie targets are like... Well, Blastoise is to set up a game at the start, we haven't seen an Archie target before or a Maxi target that's there to heal things. But, I mean, it could happen now that this thing exists.
Yeah, but, when I looked at it, I was kind of like, someone's going to do it.
Yeah. I don't know what in. I don't know what kind of deck you do this in. But, first of all, just to clarify, Grand Echo GX, heal all damage from each of your Pokemon for a DCE. It's really good. I don't know what kind of deck you'd fit it in, but there's got to be something, right?
Yeah, there will be something, and someone will make it, and then we'll make it onto a video called Bad Deck Monday, and it'll be great.
Oh, Puka, how we miss you. Anyway, onto something that could also potentially make Bad Deck Monday for just not being that good is Lunala GX. Where is it? I have it here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here. I've been vamping for 10 minutes now trying to find it. I still can't find it.
It's in with the psychic types, unsurprisingly. But
it's funny that they put that there.
it is, isn't it? Has the ability Psychic Transfer, which lets you move your psychic energy around your board however you like. Attack is Moongeist Beam for 4 psychic energy, does 120 damage. Defending Pokemon cannot be healed during your opponent's next turn. Very weird stipulation, but I'm down with it. And the
There
GX.
goes my maxi play.
Yeah. And and the GX. Can you imagine actually using Moongeist Beam in your opponent's like pre-marine? Oh, yeah.
I've made a horrible, horrible mistake.
Although, hold on, actually, because if you were like retreated into it, then the Pokemon would hit the bench, which removes Moongeist Beam's effect, which means you could heal it, I think? Judges in the comments, fill me in there. Um, Lunarfall GX, I think, is one of the coolest points about it, though. Just says knock out one of your opponent's basic Pokemon that isn't a GX. So, like, can you imagine your opponent has this, like, giant Evil Tall set, and you're like, yeah, kill that.
Like all you do is just like point and it's like dead.
Yeah. Well, it's like, but I got a Fury Belt and, like, 10 energy on it. Nah, it's just dead. It's just...
Like it's kind of thing is like if you could Ninja Boy it, it would be like the most amazing comeback ever.
It would. Do you remember when, like, before they revealed these were stage 2s and we thought they were basics and we were like, holy crap, this is really good.
Yeah,
There's just max elixir to it. It's great.
Yeah, perfect. Like, to be fair, like we had EXs, so what could you expect?
I just think it suffers from the same thing that a lot of these other ones do. It's a stage 2. Garbodor exists. Right now, I don't see this having any impact.
And Muck is going to be a thing too.
Muck won't shut this off though. Muck is just for basics.
But still, like it's going to slow people down in some way or another.
Maybe it'll turn off the Orangaroos. That'll get them. But yeah, I'm just underwhelmed by it right now. I think in a future format though, like this is definitely one of those cards I'm looking at. Like, you know, after like a rotation, we see another rotation. Maybe next season, this thing starts coming into its own. But for now, not feeling it. Right.
I'm just like a lot of the cards in this set. The way I'm feeling about it is, it just feels like a XY base set where you had probably one standout card, which was the Veltal as like an attacker, and then everything else they introduced megas, they introduced these things, and it got better as the set went on once they realized what they wanted them to do.
They hadn't got a clue with megas at first though. They were so bad.
They were like, we've got this amazing concept, and then realized it didn't work.
Exactly.
But hey, they tried, and then they figured it out.
Yeah, they released Spirit Links. It's like, hey, that's a good point.
And Vileplume.
And Vileplume. All right. Next one is Espeon GX. I did not talk about this in the initial preview. I'm kind of glad I get to talk about it now. This is a really awkward one. This and Umbreon are ones that kind of I find hard to critique because they don't look immediately fantastic, but they also don't look immediately terrible. They're somewhere in between.
Yeah, people will find ways to make them work.
Yeah.
And they, like, I'm already seeing people pair them together.
Yeah.
I'd do that, but
it wasn't the first conclusion I jumped to, that's for sure.
Yeah, like, they're cool. I'll give them that, you know. I love Espeon, and I love Umbreon. You know, the two Pokemon, the attacks are cool. And the Eevee play with it, the fact that you'll be able to evolve into it straight away is cool too.
Yeah. I just think, first of all, Psychic is clearly like, you know, Evil Ball, but bigger. It's not Evil Ball, I guess. It's a bit like, it feels like, what kind of numbers are you going to be hitting with Psychic? It's 60 plus 30 for each energy attached to your opponent's active. Like, if they have 3, that's 120 for Psychic double colorless. It's not that great. It's just pretty average.
Yeah, you consider what's going to be out on the field against you. Like, I feel like these numbers, but like, we're looking at a card like Lurantis that's hitting 120 for 3. So when you kind of put it in perspective like that, it's not terrible.
Then Division GX, which is a Psychic in a double colorless, which is put 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. I feel like that's good. Like, I feel like I'm looking at that going, yeah, 10 damage counters anywhere. It sounds pretty good, but I can't picture myself using it in a game and being like, having all this, like, I don't know, Beautiful Minds like stuff in my head where I'm picturing where to put the damage exactly. Like I'm in an episode of Sherlock or something. But
well, could you imagine a game where your opponent is dead drawing and all they have are like two basics on the bench with like 50 HP each.
Yeah, that'd be great if that
Yeah.
ever happened, though.
Which it's going to happen that one time to that one guy who's going to win a regionals or something.
Yeah, exactly. On stream and everything, it'll be great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just in practical uses. I feel like this is going to be one of those like incredibly particular setup attacks. And if you placed even one of these damage counters wrong, it could be like you could just be screwed. I think you'd need to be really careful with where you put these in real game practice, and it's something you'd need to practice an awful lot.
It's about just getting a really good board state.
Yeah, and making sure, or like putting your opponent in a board state where these 10 damage counters, specifically 10 damage counters, will hurt them a lot. I don't know if I'm a clever enough player to do that personally.
I'm sure you can figure it out. Like you probably will do it and be like, I did things
Yeah,
and stuff,
I,
and I won.
I don't know.
Oh wait, no, I drew.
I'm not going to rule it out just yet, but I think I'd need an awful lot of practice with it before I start saying it was definitely good. That's for sure.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying like people are gonna work with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see some people trying it out for sure. So the next one was Umbreon. Okay. Here we go. Umbreon again. Kind of falls in the same category for me. Like, straight for 30 damage and then switch it to the bench. I like that. It's fine for one dark.
For one dark, it's fine.
Like, if you go second, attached to one of them Energy Evolution Eevees and then strafe back to the bench, that's solid. You know, you've got your GX up, you've gotten damage on the board, you're protecting it on the bench. Yeah, that's nice. And then
Play with Trevenant.
yeah, go into like Trevenant, Wobbuffet, Wailord.
Ooh, Wobbuffet's way better actually. Yeah.
Something. Go into that Evolution's Mew. That's a terrible idea, I know. But anyway.
Yeah, I was just gonna let you sit with that one.
The silence told me everything I needed to know. Shadow Bullet then does 90 damage and 30 to one of the bench Pokemon. Well, we know this is a good attack from history, right?
Yeah, it's Darkrai.
It's Darkrai, but more affordable.
True. And stage 1, so it put way more hit points, and it's just a really, really good attack.
Yeah, it's solid. It's no Ho EX, but it's fine.
See, this is where the 10 damage counters come into play.
Yeah, I know. You can. This is again though working out the math of all these like tiny bits of snipe damage could get kind of a little bit confusing. But I think if we are seeing people use like stage 2 GXs and have all these like tiny HP things on the board, like if they have a bunch of 60 HP Cosmogs on the board and whatnot, picking all these things off with Shadow Bullet is going to be very, very nice asset to have, I think.
Do you know, like any tournament that I go to and people are playing Cosmog, I'm just gonna have a bag with me the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And just pick up the cards and just throw them in the bag. You're like, yep.
Well, like I'll probably get thrown out of the tournament pretty quick, but I'll go down in history.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure we have rules against that. I've never checked. I don't think it's specifically in the compendium, but there's got to be something there.
So long as they don't think I'm trying to kidnap the person, we're all good.
Yeah, then the police get involved. Nightcry GX is discard any 2 energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. That's so good. That's so
for
good.
For a GX attack, you get to do it once in a game.
Like, I know, but if you were basing your deck around some kind... Like, if you were the kind of deck that's based around just getting rid of energy, that kind of an asset is huge. Like, having played a lot of Houndoom, I know that I've always been in positions where I've been like, I wish I could do that right now.
What, win?
Yes. Well, no, Houndoom's good, okay? Houndoom's good. I'll prove it to you.
Yeah, I believe in you, and I don't believe you at the same time.
Houndoom is definitely good.
It's a terrible position to be in, but it's one that you do put me in.
But yeah, so you don't think Nightcry GX is good, basically?
No, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying, like, it's one of those attacks. Like, I just feel with some of these GX attacks, the fact you can only use it once, it's...
Why would you need to use this more than once, though? Like, once you've discarded 2 energy, like, it's going to take your opponent at least 2 turns to get back into the game.
Yeah, but, like, if you're playing against Lurantis and you're getting rid of 2 energy...
Oh, okay. Against Lurantis, this is terrible.
No, but that's just, like, an example of a card that's probably going to be played a good bit.
Definitely.
Or if you're playing against Volcanion...
Okay, fair point. And against Greninja, this is also useless.
Yeah, and if you look at a Beltal, okay, that's an issue, but you see how quick you can get set with that. I know we're kind of just looking right now, but in the future...
You just mentioned 3 very popular decks in the meta, and this attack isn't good against any of them. So,
Yeah.
fair point.
See, I
Fair
know stuff.
point. All right, that's actually a great summary of Nightcry. So I think we're gonna drop Umbreon there. Uh,
Well, Shadow Bullet's still good.
Shadow Ball is still good. We can't deny that. Solgaleo though, or Solgaleo, Solgalele. Where the hell is he?
How many oodles is that?
Soodle goodle loodle loodle. We're not bringing this meme outside of the group chat. I swear to God.
Well, just comments of oodles. Oodles. Where's Oshin when you need him?
He's gonna be there. I know he is. 250 hit points in Solgaleo GX. Ultra Road ability. You may switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon once per turn. So it's Russian, but strictly better in every conceivable way.
10 times better. I love this ability.
Sunsteel Strike, 230. Discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. 230 is a big number.
If it does stuff and things.
Definitely does both of those. And Solverse GX is 1 metal energy, and you search your deck for 5 cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. That's a huge attack, right? There's 5, it's like 4 Double Dragon and a DCE is all on the board, and then you attack with, like, I don't know, like a Delphox, even better. But yeah,
Yo,
something along those
Joe,
lines. Yeah.
Joe.
Hey.
Look at that GX attack. And then just look at the Umbreon one there.
Okay, you know, you've made your point, all right? You've made your point.
Yeah, like it's whether we can get it set is an issue.
I've been talking to Rory about this because I know he's been playing it a little bit, and he said that like it's not actually that great. This is all pin all the pressure on him because he told me this, but apparently it's not that great once you get it into play. Like he felt like he got the energy down and he was sort of like didn't know what to do then, and it was like it really needs the right partner. I think basically you need to really think about what you're playing this with.
See, I see this as another one of those support ones where the ability is inherently good. Like, how many decks did you have Keldeo in? Where it?
Oh, like every single one of them, like pretty much.
Yeah, like fair enough with Eveltos, like DC Dark Energy in a really bad spot here.
But Keldeo's a basic though. I mean, you can't splash this in the same way.
This is true, but the format's going to force you into.
I don't know if we're gonna see that big of a shift. I don't know if it's gonna be like we're starving like stage 2 supports, or we start committing that much to something that's just a switching card, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, but
like at this point, instead of running like I don't know, like a two Cosmog, 1 Cosmo M, 2 Rare Candy, and a 2 Solgaleo GX, I'd rather just run like 3 or 4 Switch.
Agree.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
So I can't see it being used like that, but I think Sunsteel Strike, what do you make of this attack? 230 is a big number, right?
It is a fantastic attack. It's a shame it's not as good as you'd hope it to be.
I mean,
like for like the Pokemon, could you imagine if that's an attack you want on Lapras?
Okay, that might be a bit overpowered. I also don't want to discard all the energy on Lapras, that's for sure. 230 is just some number, though.
It is some number. It's 230 of them numbers.
Yeah. And again, the thing we have to bear in mind with metal types is it's weak to fire, and Volcanian's not going anywhere. Allegedly.
It is weak to water, and if you say Lapras is going to be a thing, well, there you go.
That's what I mean. See, Volcanian's a really safe pick at the start of the next season, and that's when you play Lapras. You got to counter that. Free wins. Your Greninja matchup is so good as well. Your Eviltal matchup is great. It's a good deck, man, I swear.
Until you play Wailord.
How do I beat Wailord? There's got to be a way I can beat Wailord.
I attack for 230, I heal, or I discard all my energy. It takes me 3 turns to set up to hit for 230 again, and they heal again.
No, you cuckoo-y. There you go. Sunsteel Strike hits the math.
Boom.
See, you aren't using your head, Alan.
Oh man, I just.
If the mirror ever gets popular, you'll need Kukui.
Oh, you'll need something, okay.
That's for sure. Next one is Toras GX. So second last out of the regular set. This one's getting a relative amount of hype. I'm okay with it. I'm not amazed by it or anything. It's got 3 attacks, all of them cost a double colorless. First one is Rage, 20 plus 10 more for each damage counter on it. Second one is Horn Attack, just 60, no stipulations. Third one is the GX attack, it's Mad Bull GX, it's 30 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. 180 HP, 3 retreat cost, weak to fighting. So a lot of people are seeing this as like a Ninja Boy target where you're in a bad spot, so you just Ninja Boy and Mad Bull GX. And I was thinking about this for Lapras because obviously this isn't weak to grass, and a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
Lapras's worst matchups are grass types. And people are saying this will be good against Lurantis as a result because it can tank one hit and then you retaliate with the Mad Bull GX. I don't know about it. I don't really like the idea that this Pokemon is useless unless it gets hit, you know?
Well, I know I said it to you before we came on, but I want as many as Ash has
Yes.
this card because I I like the card. I have the same issues as yourself with it, in the sense that it is never. You're always playing a dangerous game if you are banking on your like a card that gives away 2 prizes requiring damage to be on it. But for a Ninja Boy play, that's a DCE. It's one of those plays that could just catch a lot of people off guard.
It could, but I just wonder
With a,
how often that would come up in practice, though, you know?
well, you look at like Darkrai now at the moment and Yveltal, where they're playing Fury Belt. They are taking like, especially in mirror matches where like people are teching in Pecom Lady just so that they can take an extra hit.
Yeah, I suppose this could be sort of an alternative to that, where instead of taking the hit, you accept the damage and just sort of go crazy with a Mad Bull.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that you finish the game with. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's kind of like what the guys were doing with Snorlax, um, where just no one saw it coming.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to that, except more, instead of like conserving energy, you'd be waiting until something had some damage on it. Yeah, no, I could see that. The other thing is if maybe you could pair it with like an expanded with, I don't know, Reuniclus to move damage counters around so that you take a hit with something and then move just enough onto the Toros to do damage.
Yeah,
Um,
but keep it at a range. Yeah, yeah,
I feel like that'd be hard to do in practice, but you know, people seem to be enjoying it, so I won't knock them to it too much.
yeah. And like I like it. The retreat cost is an issue, and the weakness is no big deal at the moment, thankfully.
Yeah,
But like, yeah,
which is
I think.
it's great that the weakness isn't a big deal because if that card was getting hit for weakness and that card was getting knocked out in one hit, it will be useless.
Oh no, then 100%.
Yeah, which I think is
No,
a very weird aspect to have on a card that gives up 2 prizes. I don't know. I'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. Basically. And finally,
I think it's going to be good for now.
yeah, it might be. I could see people playing it for now, at least. Definitely. Finally, we have Gumshoes GX. I love this thing. I've been playing around with it in Houndoom so much. I'm such a big fan of this one.
I
Um,
love this card.
Donald Trump GX. Once you're in your turn, your opponent.
You know that your video is getting taken down the moment.
He's building the wall around Ireland now. But no, searching the premises. Look at your
What
opponent's hand.
an amazing name of an
I
ability.
know, right? It's. I think. I hope it's the same as that in English. I know
And can you just picture Donald Trump searching the premises?
he actually just shows up at whatever tournament you're playing in, and he just sort of has a look around for anyone foreign, and then is like,
Gets all the Mexicans in a line.
"Oh
And
my god!"
you
Like,
can
but
click.
sir, this is the World Championships. I don't care.
Get building my wall.
Anyway, we shouldn't go too political on the podcast. I don't want to alienate people, but um, searching the premises.
He does.
he. Oh god. You know, they could have just made him not look like Donald Trump. We wouldn't have had to go through any of this, but it's Pokemon's fault. That's what it is. It's Pokemon's fault. So, has
They're
this
beautiful.
ability, searching the premises. Once during your turn, you can look at your opponent's hand. This is so good, especially in Houndoom, where it's sort of a lot of your decisions are based on hand knowledge. You know, knowing when to end, knowing when to team Skullgrunt, knowing when to do things like this, is really important with Houndoom, and it can put you in great positions. That ability alone is so good.
And when to end. Like just the for now, just being like What's in your hand? Oh, junk. No, I'm gonna hold that in.
Exactly. That just in any deck is such a huge asset, right?
In any deck?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Alan, in
Yeah.
any deck. Gumshoe
And
Chance GX does 10 damage plus 50 more for each energy on your opponent's active Pokemon. Again, with
this.
Houndoom, a big issue is people building up giant Eviltalls or giant Mega Mewtwo's, and all you do is come in with this and kill it. And then you just win, because they have nothing left to attack with. Look, this... Really, I'm singling out Houndoom as like an example for this deck. I can't think of anything else where I'd put it. Potentially Wailord, if you can fit like a stage 1 line in that kind of a deck. But I think that's definitely the decks we're going to be seeing it in, is disruption decks that are based on stalling or milling that need a little bit of extra support. This could even fit into like Sableye Garbodor or something like that. I think
What's
that,
wrong to VS Seeker?
yes. What's do you want to tell this story actually of the low count of the S Seeker and Wailord story?
I was playing in an LC after my what was it?
It was
It
London,
was
wasn't it?
London, yeah, the London International, and it was the expanded LC day two, and because I'd done so poorly day one, and the dude sits across me and he's got this horrific grin on his face, and I'm like I'm pretty far down near the bottom tables, and it's like there's only one way you are grinning, and you're this far down the tables, and it's that you're playing Wailord, and he just couldn't stop laughing, and he was like, "How'd you know?" And he was like, I'm gonna have a good time playing you, so long as you're not playing Virgin. Little did he know I was playing Virgin, but we flipped over our first cards, and I Deoxys EX up front, and he was like, "Oh my God, Plasma! I'm gonna have such a good time," and he thinks he's gonna run riot, and he keeps hitting me with Team Rocket's handiwork, and I see a VS Seeker come down, I see another one come down. Eventually, I beat him, and just because.
You beat him because like Wailord versus Virizion Genesect never goes well for Wailord, right?
No, but just G Booster, and to be fair, he was playing Suicune, and he was using Headringer, which was a pain,
Yeah.
but you figure out ways to get around it with Tool Scrapper and that. But
It's
he
expanded, of course you do. Like,
yeah, you kind of tech for that, and he at the end of the game, I was like, both games we played, he only played 2 VS Seeker, and I was like, I was like, do you have more? Were they prized on you? And he's like, no, I only play 2. Why would you play any more than 2? You don't need more than 2. Like, why? What? Like, Wailord doesn't
oh
need you
man.
to get stuff out of the bin, and I'm kind of sitting there like,
But you do. You need to recycle your flare grunts. It's
but he was a super cool dude who sang Akuna Matata, and he did a lot of cool dancing and a lot of Disney songs while we played, because that's all he could do in his turns, and just poor deck choices.
yeah. I can't. I honestly, if I was like trying to concentrate my hardest trying to win this game, my opponents are singing Akuna Matata. I think I'd be I think I'd be like close to calling the judge, to be honest.
No, I had a good
But
time. I won.
I'm salty like that.
No, but it doesn't matter when you're winning. It's different if you're losing.
Yeah, that's a good
So,
point. That's a good point.
but anyway, back to
Back to
the G.
GXs. We're going to move on now from all the ones that were in Collection Sun and Moon. So we're going to move on to the Sun and Moon expansion set, or as it's labeled, the Sun and Moon Strengthening expansion pack. Thank you, Japan, for always having better names than we do. This says it'll be released on January 27th, contains 51 cards, random stuff like this. It's just a little bit of extra cards. It'll probably come in our second set, like Sun and
Oh,
Moon 2,
100%.
whatever it is, down the line. But we do have the cards revealed now.
You figured out what we're doing, Seth.
That's the one, yeah. So we've got once they release GX Spirit Links that do nothing. We've got
Turns all GX Pokemon into basic Pokemon, but you still require the basic Pokemon on the bench.
ew. I don't like that at all. But no, I think if we ever get something like a supporter that resets the GX attack, I'm gonna be really annoyed. I want this to be something that just remains. That this is a constant game state where you only have one GX attack. I don't ever want that changing. I think that I like that idea. You know?
Like, my only issue is that you have to call it whatever GX. But I can understand why they've brought that in,
That's
because
not
it's
that
just like
bad.
you've said GX this game.
Yeah,
So that you remember that you can't use that attack
yeah.
again.
And you
Like,
also
I
have
can
the
understand.
coin that you're supposed to leave in the middle of the table.
What?
Any the new little marker, the GX
Oh yeah,
marker,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was like, why are you flipping a coin?
Sylveon GX. One of the first ones revealed from this set. So, Magical Ribbon. Search your deck for up to 3 cards, put them in your hand. That's pretty great.
I love that.
Yeah, like what more do you want? Oh, that's a great card. That's a great attack. It's 1 energy. While you're setting up everything else, you just search for any 3 cards. It's like super talent playing. Fairy Wind, 110. Underwhelming. It exists. Real cool thing about this is Priere GX. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
It's
Picked
Cryle.
Yeah, I'm not French. I'm not going to try and offend anybody. Pick 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Return those Pokemon and all cards attached to them to your opponent's hand. This could be used with something like, I don't know, can you imagine like Lizond up a Hoopa? And then you just put back 2 Mega Mewtwo's or something like that. That's the kind of scenario I envision this being good in. Or like, we're talking about a lot of GXs that require rare candy to get into play. Putting those back into your opponent's hand is going to cause some really awkward situations, right?
What it is it's put those two Pokemon back into your opponent's hand and wipe the smile off their face.
Yeah. I feel like that could either be really good or really bad. Like, you'd need to sort of time that with Lizond, and you'd need to be a bit clever with using that, but
Yeah, like they're like I I have a feeling you could see some sort of shenanigans with like an Evolutions deck where
you run like multiple Evolution GXs, you mean?
yeah, like with rainbow energies and stuff because like look at that's fairy and DCE
Yeah.
and you what was it Umbreon where it was darkness DCE and that like those I'm sure someone's going to try it.
We've had
Uh,
sort of an Evolutions deck before, which was Evolutions Deoxys, and it had like all of the Plasma EVs and Deoxys, and that was good for some city championships for a little while.
yeah, like local tournaments and you wouldn't be expecting it to win regionals or anything like that, but just kind of like for fun, like league and stuff.
Yeah. I could see that. I think this is definitely something that this card to me looks like it absolutely needs some kind of support, but that GX attack looks like it has the potential, like in theory, to just put you in a game-winning position entirely by itself, and that alone means I think we have to always bear this card in mind, right?
100%.
Yeah. Next one's gonna be Vika Volt GX, which I think we're gonna have to. There are 2 big points that I want to mention with this one. First of all, I'll just read what it does. Charge Beam, 50 damage. Attach an energy from your discard to this Pokemon. For Lightning Triple Colorless, Super Zap Cannon does 180 damage. Discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. And for the same attack cost, Gigatron GX, great name, does 60 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance to them. 2 things I want to point out with this. One, it's probably meant to be paired with the other non-GX Vika Volt that lets you cycle Grass and Lightning
Oh,
energy.
100%.
And 2 is if we at any point get a Grass type Charjabug, this line becomes just way, way better, right?
Oh yeah, but like this was one of those cards that even when I saw the first Vika Volt, I liked it.
The
You
non
know,
the
I
non the non GX one, right?
the non GX one, like it's one of those that it's not going to be good now,
Yeah,
but it has potential.
that's exactly. This is again where like we've been mentioning a couple of cards, and you've mentioned this a lot, but there's a lot of cards in these sets that feel like they're more focused towards a future format.
Like you're looking at it now, it's like there's no way that. But then like we we kind of looked at Snorlax GX and we're kind of like, who's gonna pay 5 energy to screen his pancake? And then people went and did it. So
Yeah, but that was a colorless basic, so like those things are inherently more splashable and more usable than a stage 2 lightning type, you know?
who knew you could splash a Snorlax?
Yes. I mean, that's a big splash, isn't it? But
That it is.
I don't know. I like this card. I think like 4 energy is a bit hefty, but 180 damage is big. And if your opponent has 3 Pokemon on the bench and you have a wide lens, and your opponent's got 3 Shaman on the bench, Gigatron GX will win you the game.
Oh yeah.
Your opponent's never going to be stupid enough to do that, but it does happen, probably.
It's a shit. Like, could you imagine if it applied weakness because like all of the
Oh,
shamans?
sweet Jesus! If it applied weakness, it's an already a much better card. Like I mean, Yeah, you could run wide lens, I guess, if you really wanted to. And I feel like maybe if you're going far enough that you're running a Vika Volt GX deck, that you probably should throw in a wide lens just in case. But I just can't see it coming up very often, you know?
No.
I feel like if you're setting up this slowly, your opponent's going to be able to take their time too, and therefore not need to use the Shamans necessarily.
True.
If we maybe captivating Pokepuff and a lot of luck, but no, I can't see it right now.
Someday.
Yeah, I just want to compare this to Lurantis for a second and say Charge Beam for the same energy cost does 50 damage, so 10 more, but you only get attached one energy card, and it has to be to this Vika Volt. Lurantis does 10 less damage, but attaches 2 energy to anywhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's a stage 1 with Forest of Giant Plants. This is a stage 2 with Rare Candy. I don't know. I just feel like Lurantis just, if you think about it that way, Lurantis just outclasses so many of these other ones that we've been talking about today.
There's no denying how good Lurantis is.
Yeah.
But oh. It's a cool Pokemon. I know it looks cool.
Yeah, I like that this one only has a 1 retreat cost. I think the other one having a 3 retreat cost is stupid.
Yeah, but it's like anything. They're like, how do we balance it?
Yeah, give it free retreat. Another one we have here is Lycanroc GX. I quite like this one, and it's the only fighting type one that's been revealed so far. Crunch, fighting colorless, does 30 damage, discarding energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. Active Pokemon.
If this was a single energy, it'd be a way better attack.
If it was a single energy, it'd be broken.
Not really.
I think, I'm fine with this being 2 energies. Single energy is too much. Like, I mean, I know Raticate is, but Raticate has a base of 10 damage, has 140 less HP, which is a big number. It's got, can't use strong energy or anything like that. I think especially in Expanded, where you've already got things like Focus Sash and stuff like that. And this thing has so much more support in Expanded, but...
Can we not bring up Focus Sash?
Yeah, you love that card, don't you? Especially that time in regionals, or
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess this is staying off the podcast then.
That one time when I thought I was winning the game and then didn't see the Focus Sash under the card and didn't win the game and then lost it the next turn. Shush.
Yeah, that time. Yeah.
The time that made me miscut. Yeah.
It happens to everybody.
It happens to me.
Happens to everybody. Accelerock 120 damage. I like this because you can increase the damage with strong energies and stuff. To me, I feel like this card would play a bit like Seismitoad does, in the sense that you have your main disruption attack and that's what you're using for the most part, but then you can attach another energy and use this like massive damage attack, like Lycanroc GX, which does 200 damage and you discard 2 energy attached to Lycanroc GX. I really like this card because I think it's prepared for that. I think attacks that, like, it's a bit like Raticate itself has proven itself already, in that it has the main attack for disruption, but you can follow that up with another attack that does an ass load of damage once you've already done a sufficient amount of disruption. And I think Lycanroc will just play in the same way, but given that it does way more damage and has way more HP, it'll be able to be more of a fully fledged deck of itself.
It doesn't have enough HP though.
You don't think 200 is enough? Are you out of your goddamn mind?
It's weakness.
Look, it's weak to grass, and it's going to be terrible against Lurantis. Because you're like, yeah, discard that energy. Oh, look, it's back on.
Well, you won't even get to attack with the energy because they'll be like, no.
Okay, this is take the loss to Lurantis, but then try and beat everything else. All right.
Okay, yeah, and 200 damage on the GX attack is super.
240 by the time you throw strong energies on that. You can probably pair this with Carbink Break for safeguards and stuff like that. I really like this.
Yeah, I do like it too.
We get it in American Europe on February 24th, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I see that too there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, America will get it 24th. We'll get it in May.
Yeah, fair play.
2018.
Good joke. Fair point. Yep. Let's get a picture of the box there for everyone wondering. Yep, that's what it'll look like for us Europeans in May 2018. Can't wait to get that.
That's just super cool too.
Can't wait to get that Fates Collide pack in May 2018.
Hey, that'll be worth something.
Anyway, got 3 more to go. Next one's Drampa GX, or Dragon Grandpa GX. First of all, this Pokemon itself, I think everyone seems to like. It looks cool. Definitely does not look like the never-ending story dragon.
No,
Like, not in any way. It's
no,
impossible.
no.
So this is sort of similar to Lycanroc in a way. It's got Righteous Edge, does 20 damage, discard special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Berserk for 3 colorless, 80, and if there's any damage counters on your bench, does 70 more damage. Then 1 colorless, the GX attack is 1 colorless. Great Revolution GX, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 10 cards. Okay, that's a lot of cards.
It is. It's a butt ton of cards.
It really is. Do you see that? Do you consider this a good GX attack, though?
I consider Chorus better.
I feel like I don't consider it good.
No.
Because you gotta think, like, at what time in the game are you using this?
When you're trying to deck yourself out.
Yeah, like 10. If you're trying to get around like late game ends, 10 is too much. You're gonna run out of cards.
It's one of those. It's like, okay, I really need to get my board set super quick. Do you know what would help? All of my cards right now.
Yeah.
And then you pass, and then you go, and
yeah, and then you're just done for. Like that's what frustrates me is I can't find a point in the game at which I would want to use Great Revolution.
Do you know what you match it up with Donald Trump and pray they don't top deck in?
Okay, that's right. You match it up with Donald Trump so you can look at their hand and assess whether or not they can use N.
And if they have N, as you're looking at it, you just put your hand between their hand and then just push it up in the air.
You've always been one for pro tactics in Pokemon, Alan.
Look, when you watch the best, you learn the tricks. You know? So,
I mean, yeah.
I practice my palming and stuff. Yeah, I'm getting good at it.
He spends like 3 hours a night just flipping coins.
Oh, that's just my morning routine.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this attack I think is, as well, we got to bear in mind that we're doing all this, and then like the end product is that you've drawn a hand of 10 cards, right? That's fine, but do you care? Like,
well, let's just for fun say you Sycamore, and then you could have like 17 cards in your hand.
No, you shuffle in then draw 10.
Oh wait.
So whatever your hand is before.
This is an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because to me, I feel like I'd just rather use like Talonflame or Alolan Raticate or Sylveon GX. I feel like I'd rather search for stuff specifically than be like 10 random cards. I just don't see this being a good GX attack. I do like Righteous Edge though, and I do like Berserk. I think these things hit big
Berserk
numbers.
is cool.
Yeah, I like
Berserk
both those attacks.
3 is very splashable as well.
Yeah, and I like that it's colorless, like you were saying. I like that it's a basic. I like that it's got a lot of HP. I'm going to be picking this up. I think it's a cool card. I just don't think the GX attack is much shakes.
Well, it shuffles.
It does shuffle. Toxapex GX.
I'm sorry, this is why I'll never be on the podcast.
Hey, you got one shot. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you gotta ruin it, right?
Toxapex GX. 210 HP. Evolves from Marini. Spike Cannon, 30 damage for each heads on 4 coin flips. Let's move right past that one. The big 2 talking points of this one is Ultra Toxic Poison for 3 Psychic Energy. That's a lot of energy, but opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 10 damage counters on instead of 1 between turns. 10! That's so big. Can you, like, I mean, what I want to, let's just say we're against that Drampa GX that we just looked at. You do 100 damage, then coming back into your turn, it's 100 more damage. It's knocked out between turns. So you get, like, an attack on a brand new Pokemon. That's crazy good.
I like it. I like it a lot. And 10 damage plus, like, if you're playing around in Expanded or they reprint Verbank.
Yeah, because, 10 isn't enough. Like,
yeah, well, look, it's never enough.
you need to be hitting 260 between turns.
Just want to watch the world burn in poison.
Pair it with that Krogunk that increases it further, just in case.
Yeah, 100%.
This is just an absurd number of damage.
150 damage on the GX attack is super cool too.
Yeah, and I do want to read Toxic Shelter GX. Prevent all effective attacks, including damage you receive next turn. I really like this because it means that if you don't knock out your opponent's Pokemon, like coming back into your turn, and you can then get the KO with Toxic Shelter, and then going back into their turn, they still can't actually attack you because you're preventing all these effects. Like there are counters to this. There are things like Magearna and Virizion EX it expanded that can prevent this poison, but I think my way of playing Toxapex will be pairing it with things like Garbodor or maybe Muck or something like that. Toxapex GX Garbodor seems like something natural in my head to me. I'd be running with like Max Elixirs, maybe Experience Shares to keep the energy in play. I think this is just a really solid card. I really like this.
Yeah, I do too, and it's one of these cards I'll be picking up.
Exactly. Until we find like unless like a really good counter to poison came out between now and then, which I can't
Yeah.
see. Like I don't know. I think it's really great.
Yeah, no, 100%. I really like it.
And the final one, maybe the worst one, that we've looked at so far, maybe worse than Primarina, is Beware GX.
I don't know if you could use the word worse.
Really?
It's just horrific.
Yeah, it's so bad. I thought for a second there you were going to say, I think it's good. And I was like, hold on. No,
No, just no.
I'm really
Just
not seeing how you use... A Hug is cool, right? Bear Hug, 80 damage, can't retreat next turn. Yeah, you can lock things in the active. Yeah, most people are playing Floatstone over traditional switching cards. Yeah, it's nice. Double Impact. Alright, I just want to read this, right? Four colorless energy on stage 1. So it's a lot of commitment. And you flip 2 coins and it does 100 damage for each heads. So you could do all that and then flip 2 tails. And you're like, well... And even if you flip 1 heads, like, who cares?
it just brings me back to Mega Kangaskhan.
Yeah, I mean, except Mega Kangaskhan had base damage, so even if you flip tails, you're still fine. Like,
Yeah, but no, like only one person played it. They did somewhat okay with it every now and again, and yeah. And Tree Retreat, and
yeah, 3 retreats huge. Holy crap! And Big Throw GX is discard your opponent's active and all cards attached to it. All right, I can see that's cool, right?
that's funny.
That's
That's just
funny.
funny.
Yes, I don't know. Like, I mean, you don't take a
But the
prize
thing
for
is,
it.
you take no prizes from it.
It's more just like, oh, I'm in a bad position. Just get rid of that.
Yeah, but you get no, you gain nothing from it.
You put
Like
you push your opponent back a few turns, I suppose.
maybe one.
Yeah, yeah, maybe one.
Because like by the time you have that attack set,
Okay, all right, that's a very valid point. They're gonna have probably a good few attackers set. Like Evil Tolly X would run through this thing, right?
it would pick it up, bend it over, and throw it back.
I'm so glad that's where it went. They could have gone other places. Oh man, I think the one thing I thought of with this, the one thing is that I want to remember that, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon, the ones that change Stage 1's types.
Yes.
That says it does not apply for EX Pokemon, but these aren't EX Pokemon, they're GX Pokemon. So if you paired like the evolutions with double impact, now you're doing an average of 100 base damage plus weakness. I don't think that's gonna work. I think that's gonna be utter crap. But that's
2017 Joe wins Worlds with Beware.
Beware Eevees, boys. Gonna bear hug my way to the finals.
Oh man.
And then
And that's before the police get called.
Can you imagine seeing that like in the finals is like my opponent's got this giant Mega Mewtwo ready and I've just got this Beware with a ton of EXP shares on it. Like,
Hey, look, it's not nearly as crazy as friggin' Odd No winning Worlds.
that's true. That's true. And then I just big throw it away in the bin and I'm like, yeah, what you gonna do now? Throw up
This
that
is-
other Mega Mewtwo? Oh yeah, probably.
And that, you just gotta sing like "Throw It Away" or something like.
Yeah.
You just gotta have some like throwaway song that you can throw at them as well while you're doing it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm gonna need to make a scene if I'm playing Beware Eevees at Worlds, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll get hype for just playing it.
You know what? While I'm here, I'm gonna look up the Stuffle and see if that has any good attacks.
It probably doesn't.
Let's find out.
Oh no, Joe, no, Joe, please.
Wait, I haven't seen it yet. Hold on. My laptop's really slow because I got like 5 tabs open and a Skype call, so and a screen recorder. You know what? My laptop's just slow. Let's just put an end to that.
Okay, I think I just blew up my laptop trying to do the same thing.
I heard a beep.
Yeah, that was my computer going, no,
Oh,
Alan, no.
oh, here we go, here we go. Are you ready for this? Do you want to know what Stubble does?
Go for it.
Double colorless, tackle,
Hmm.
30 damage.
Oh man, we've got our decks.
There we go. Buy your Stuffles, boys. The non-GX Beware is like terrible as well. I'm not even gonna read that out. It's just so bad. Oh,
It's team deck levels. That's what it
oh,
is.
it's probably in the theme decks. I am not gonna look it up, but it probably is there. So, I think that's gonna do it for our sort of review of every single GX Pokemon that has been revealed so far. Alan, thank you so much for doing this with me.
No problem. I've got one last thing that I want to throw at you unexpected. I know you're kind of, it's usually your thing to do,
Go for it. Go for it.
but after all the EXs we've had, we've been burned on a lot of cards being skipped over.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one card or Pokemon you hope gets turned into a GX that was never made into an EX? And I'm gonna put
Oh,
that for like the people in the comments as well.
that's such a good question. That's like so much better than anything I was gonna end the program with. But that's really good. Okay, let's go with that. Um, I think well, my heart's obviously saying Eradicate GX, right? Like, you know, obviously. Um, I th-
Go to hell.
I think Pikachu. Yeah, I think Pikachu sees too much love though. I think Raichu never got an EX. We've never had a Raichu EX, even though we actually had two different Pikachu EXs. I think I'd like to see like a Raichu GX or an Alolan Raichu GX. I think that'd be kind of
I
cool.
would 100% want to see an Alolan one with you, and I feel with the way the sets are going to go, the Alolan Pokemon, you know the way the other sets went, where like you might have gotten like two versions of a card where it was like one good, one bad.
Yeah,
Whereas you'll get like a Kanto and an Alolan one, and one of them's going to be really good and one of them's going to be really awful.
yeah, that sounds
So,
about right. Yeah,
so I can see them doing that with Raichu.
I hope we do. I hope we do.
Mine is Primate.
You do like your Primeape, don't you?
But it's just one of the like there's Pokemon that constantly get left out, and like it was a toss up between that and Sandslash.
Oh, Alolan Sandslash though.
Like either.
Yeah,
I personally prefer the OG one just because the look is amazing.
yeah.
But for me, it's just got to be Primate. Like Garchomp has had a load of good cards in the past, so that's why I have to skip over. And any starter is just off limits in my eyes because it's a starter.
Well, they're gonna get them anyway. Like we've already seen them.
Yeah, and they're not going to be good.
Yeah. Your mic's also just gone really quiet all of a sudden. I don't know why.
What? Mine?
Yeah,
Mine?
yours.
Okay, cool. No, but yeah, I suppose we'll just leave that in the comments. And if anyone wants to hit me up with a smart comment, go for it.
Yeah, if anyone wants to basically slag off Alan, go for it in the comments.
Yeah, Joe will leave a link to the Facebook page I always use and my Twitter that I always use.
Yeah, let's reveal all of his personal details online and to
And my social.
yeah, give them your bank account details while we're here.
Oh no, that's already been stolen twice. I don't need that stolen again.
Ah, third time's a charm. Anyway, in all seriousness though, thank you very much for coming on the show. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys at home also learned a thing or two about all the GXs. I didn't count how many we went over in total. Do you have a favorite out of them all of them?
Yes.
And what would it be?
Oh, totally different question there, Joe. For me, it's a toss-up between. It's got to be Lurantis or Sugar. I just can't remember the name. It's the second last one we went through.
Toxapex?
Toxapex, yes. I really, really want that card.
I love it so much. It seems so cool, and I can't wait to start playing around with it.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, no, Lurantis is just the only correct answer to this question, so I won't say Lurantis. I really like Toxapex, I really like Lapras, but it has to be Gumshoes. That thing is
really
so cool. I'm a big fan of it, and everyone knows I'm a big fan of it by now. I've gone on about it a lot in multiple different videos on this channel, but I really like it.
This is true.
Anyway,
we've ranted and raved.
we have, and I hope everyone's enjoyed it. That is going to do it for this episode of Woopercast. Once again, thank you so much to Alan. Links to Poke Playtime will be in the description below if anyone wants to go check that out. This has been Joe from Woopercast. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. It'll be a surprise. Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's Play will start at the end of this week as well. I have been meaning to get that going. I just haven't had the time, and I've also been sick, which has kind of pushed back my schedule a tiny, tiny bit.